The world is getting more and more technologically advanced as the days go. Guys, it's getting crazy. Everything nowadays needs an app. Nowadays, homes are smart, cars are smart, everything is smart. Even some offices are smart. And it's interesting how anytime you need to get something new, the moment you download it and you're now beginning to utilize it, there's that one checkbox that we all click, that we all have to read and make sure we understand, the terms and conditions of how to use that app or what that app entails. And most of us, we tend to scroll through, and I don't know about you, but I just do all the way to the bottom and read, and then I click the box and I check it and I have the app and I can finally use the app. Ladies and gentlemen, it's interesting. This is how we too approach relationships. We don't look at the terms and conditions within our relationships. So we enter into it, and then when we get in there, we're surprised by the things that we find out. This series that we begin today is a series that is going to talk about the terms and conditions that you need to consider even as you get into a relationship or you get a new partner and are pursuing love with them. My name is Emmanuel G. I'm the founder of iVow, and it's exciting to be back with this new series in this new year. And I look forward to a great year doing amazing things together, learning about marriage and improving our marriage and making love the true happily ever after that it's supposed to be. As we have said there in the intro, we're going to be looking at the terms and conditions that you should consider with regard to your relationship. Now, this is going to be more beneficial to those who are not yet married or not yet living together, but are kind of trying to figure out what are we in? Are you the right person? Are you the right man for me, right woman for me? This is going to benefit you a little bit more. So tune in and even share this with all your single folk because this is something you don't want to miss. But for you who are out there and are already in this, it's also a good place to have a conversation so that it can help you gain some understanding as to why you see your partner or your person do the things that they do. And today we're going to start with the first thing. Now, growing up, we are all a product of our past, and especially the past based on how we were raised in our different spaces, whether it was in a home, whether it was in a family setting or a children's home or foster care, wherever it is, we all have a past, and all that plays into who we are. Now, one of the things I want to talk about today is this thing called rules. What are rules? Basically, rules are the guidelines that help a family govern itself. And basically, this is what we do in our house, almost like, a constitution that helps us, figure out or maneuver around, the setting, the home setting. There's three types of rules. There's the formal rules, there's the informal rules, and there's the hidden rules. Now, formal rules are the rules that are spoken. This one are outright. This one's anybody and everybody in the home knows these rules. Even the youngest child knows these rules because it's something that we speak out, we state, and it's so evident within the context of our home. Some of the rules are like, we always eat together at the table. Everybody knows. When it's dinner time, when it's lunchtime, when it's breakfast, we all sit at the table is set, and we sit. For some homes, it's different. Everybody gets, their own food and go wherever. But basically, it's a rule that we all know that during this moment, during this time, we are all doing this together. Another one could be, we always call people when we know we are running late. Sometimes that seems obvious to some, but in some homes, this does not happen at all. So we find that, you get into this relationship and this person is not calling as they're running late, and you're wondering, hey, this is just common courtesy. But common courtesy to you might not be common courtesy to your partner. Now, informal rules, these ones are the ones that are not necessarily stated, but there's an assumption based on the past and the present practice that just makes us understand that, yeah, this could be a rule within the home. It's not stated, but it's because of practice, because of things that we have done in the past, that we know that these are rules within the home. Now, one common one is, this is Dad's chair. Nobody sits on it. It's interesting how when you go to each home, you will always find that there's the chair that Dad sits on, and it's always that single chair, perfectly positioned, can see everything, including the TV. The remotes are always close to that place. Yeah, that's kind of cliche, but you get what I'm saying. Then there's the informal rules, as others like we don't borrow anyone's things without permission. It may not be stated, but it's just that thing that if you took something that belongs to your sibling, a parent, or someone else within the family, there would be some grumpiness and people would not like what you have done. So we know this one is not stated, but because of responses in the past, this now applies and is a rule within the context of our home. Then there's the hidden rules. These are the rules, that have an air of taboo to them. It's almost like we don't talk about it, just because it probably brings some form of shame or some form of guilt within the context of the home. For example, alcoholism. We just don't talk about the alcoholism, dads, brothers, moms, alcoholism. We don't talk about the drug addiction. We don't talk about the infidelity. We don't talk about mental illness. That's a big one right now. It's a big thing that we're talking about worldwide and trying to create awareness for it. But there are many families who will never say our person is mentally ill. So you don't get to, bring awareness so that we know even how to handle or treat that person. Or children who are born out of wedlock. We tend to shy away from saying, from revealing that or talking about that because maybe societal norms don't allow for such things to be talked about, or even religious norms don't allow for things like that to be talked about. And these are the things that, form the people that we are. And you find that, growing up, you will adapt one of these things, and this forms the man or woman that you are, so that when you meet this other person, these are the things that you're looking to impose within your relationship, and these are the expectations that you're expecting also from your partner. Yet they grew up in a different home with different rules, raised totally different. So their rules will always be different. And it's important for you guys to sit down and just hash this out and have this conversation. And when you enter this conversation, enter with an attitude to learn and an attitude to understand. We do not know why different people do different things. It's based on things that they've experienced in the past. So they will tend to respond to life differently. So it's important for you to know this. So here are some things maybe that you can listen with your partner and then begin to just have this conversation with each other. Now here are some things maybe you can talk about. One is discipline. What's the rule behind discipline within the home? There's some homes where a timeout is okay. There are some homes where we just withdraw things from the children. But there are homes which are like mine, growing up, where anything and everything, including the kitchen sink, could be thrown at you if you messed up. I guess that's why, some of us turned out okay, because, they did not spare the rod for sure. Them parents, God bless them, may they rest in peace. But yeah, these are things that, you need to have a conversation. And you find that when it comes to parenting, you may clash because your partner is like, no, violence does not work in this home. It does not help the child. Well, we turned out okay. So, I'm here saying, man, whoop that kid. Yeah, I was about to say something else, but this is a G-rated show. But yeah, whoop that kid. Don't spare that kid. Let him know this is the way things are. You mess up, you get a whooping. So things like communication. How do you talk to each other? So that was discipline. Next is communication. How do we talk to each other in the house? Some people come from very liberal homes where you speak. However, some people come from very conservative homes. Some people come from proper homes. We talk properly. We don't have, slang in our conversations. Or if you're in Nairobi, Kenya, we don't speak Sheng, or we don't speak the mother tongue. We speak the Queen's English. Hello. Secrets. What's the rule around secrets? Do we talk about them or do we do it in hushed tones? Is there a particular time? Who do we talk these secrets with? Within the context of our family. Spiritual life. What was the rule around it? Some homes you're just told, guys, do you. You do you. Whatever you want to believe. If you want to be, do the Buddhist thing, go do the Buddhist thing. If you want to be Muslim, go do the Muslim thing, as long as you feel good about it and it's making you feel right. But in some homes, you are made to go to church on Sunday morning, then you go for the evening service, you go for Wednesday church service, Tuesday prayer meeting, Saturday women's ministry and men's ministry, and your life is just around church. Then the occasional Friday night prayer at the end of the month, all night prayer, and you are made to go, okay, I need counseling. Friday night prayer, and you are trying to stay awake. And I remember I used to be crawled on the ground and would put a blanket, or rather my jacket over me and pretend like I'm praying. And I was fast asleep. I was resting in the Lord. Hallelujah. But yeah, spiritual life. Different homes have a different way of handling the spiritual life. And it's important for you to understand, what does your partner, feel about it? Are they Catholic? Are they Anglican? Are they Presbyterian? Are they, AIC? What is their denomination? What do they believe? What do they follow? Are they Pentecostal, super charismatic, guys who speak in tongues and loudly and prophesy and cast out demons, yet you are just the kind who just keeps quiet and just thanks the Lord deep inside. So different people have different ways of doing it. What was the rule around family gatherings? How do you hang out with each other? What was the code of conduct that you guys would operate on? Personal space, what did that mean? I remember for me, I had my own room because I was the only boy. I have two sisters. So being the only boy, I had my own room. So always, I have always had my personal space, guarded my personal space, taken care of my personal space. So I never want anyone to come into my personal space. That has formed who I am. So sometimes I go to my room when my wife is not there just so that I can have my personal space. It's how I was formed. It's how I was raised. So I adopt these things growing up. Personal property. What is the rule around personal property? Who can take it? Who can't take it? Can you take it? Do you have to ask for permission? Do you have to clean it when you bring it back? What was the rule around that? What was the rule around food? How do we take it? If somebody brings something home, do we have to ask? Does it mean whatever is in the fridge is for everyone? You'll be surprised in some homes, it's not. There's something left specifically for somebody, and everybody has a different diet. Now, growing up, and meet this person where, anything goes. Boy, you're in for a ride. Cleanliness. What was the rule around cleanliness? I grew up with a father who was a policeman, and he was very, very rigid. So things had to be in place. My mom was raised by Catholic nuns, Spanish and Italian Catholic nuns in school, in boarding school. So even the way she did things was just in a meticulous way. Guess how we turn out? We are very meticulous. We, all of us, like light colors so that you can be able to spot that. We don't like dark colors in our homes. How were you raised? What was the rule around cleanliness? What was the rule around sex? Do we even talk about it? Do we talk about it liberally? Are we conservative about it? Do we even have that conversation? Or is it a sin? Guys, it's important to understand how your partner was raised, because these are the things they tend to replicate within the context of your relationship and your marriage. And because they replicate this, and because this is what they bring to the table, it's important for you to know what it is that you're dealing with, what it is that you're facing, and what it is that you need to learn how to work with. Because guys, these are the terms and conditions. Yeah, those apps, I remember one, these loan apps that, were downloaded to the phone. When they ask you to accept permissions, different permissions, those permissions allow the app to mess with your SMS, to mess with your camera, mess with all these things. That means the owner of that app could be spying on you. But we just click terms and conditions, and we do the same within the context of our relationships. And when we get into the relationship, there was the marketing that was posted to you, and there was now what is on ground, and you're just like, he has changed. He has changed so much. He doesn't do this anymore. This woman, she doesn't do this anymore for me. She has changed. She's not the same woman that I married. Guys, whenever we are dating, whenever we are pursuing somebody, we'll always present the best of us. But it's important for us to take just a minute, slow it down, and then find out, who are you? Where do you come from? And what are you made up of? It is in knowing this that it helps you to maneuver much better within your relationship. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this information is something that will build you up and change your relationships. I look forward to just continuing this conversation throughout, this series. It's called Relationships, Terms and Conditions Edition. So thank you. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share and hit the notification bell so that you can get all the information, or rather you can get a notification on the new videos that we're going to release. Thank you, and God bless you. Emmanuel G.